today with Belararox, which is a mining company in north-south of New South Wales. So we're very interested about this sort of space at this present time. Obviously, there's a few things going on, which are very interesting, but a little bit how we're going. But we'll see how that goes on. But in the meantime, we're joined by the Managing Director, Arvind, and we're very excited to have them on today. We're going to go through a brief presentation and have the audience be able to answer a few questions at the end of the presentation. Ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to go down and send through your questions, we'll just stack them up and I'll be able to read them out at the end. We're going to go through this brief presentation with regards to what's been happening. We're going to be talking a bit about drills, a bit about what the framework is going to be for the next couple of months to come, and what's the outlook for the company overall. But obviously, Arvind, we're looking at this company for a while, and you've had a really good IPO. Obviously, starting off at 20 cents, now up to about 55 cents. You must be pretty over the moon to start with.
Very, very happy with the way share price has performed, but I still believe there's a lot more to go just because of the quality of the assets and the team we have. But yes, less than 4 weeks, share price sort of jumped 55 cents from 20, so very happy about that.
Yeah, of course, of course. And obviously, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't any advice. This is just a presentation for information purposes. Obviously, we'll jump back into the presentation now, but if there's any queries or questions, just send them through via the questions tab. We get onto it. But apart from that, if you want to take it away with the presentation, we can get started.
Okay, so ready to go now, Lachlan?
Awesome. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I'll start with just describing the name of the company itself. Just reveals a few things. Belararox. The Belara comes from the Belara mine. It's a historical mine that was mined pre-World War. Very high-grade copper mine and gold mine, and has silver. So it's mined about 3 to 5% copper, 2 to 4.5 grams of gold, and about 2 to 3 ounces of silver per ton. There was no lead and zinc mine. So our project and its main project is Belara, and it's around Belara mine, and that's how the name Belara. Rocks comes from a company called Mondo Rocks, which is named after a band in the 60s, I think. And the Rocks has come in, and Mondo Rocks is our largest shareholder. They are the ones who got the project first and got transferred over to Belararox. That's how the name is Belararox. And the people who are behind Mondo Rocks, one of the wife, Michelle Stokes, is in our board also. Very it's our honor to have her on the board, a geologist of 35 years experience, and her husband, Greg Partington, who is our chief technical consultant. Between them, they run a company called Kenex also, which is our strategic partner in this journey with us, and they are effectively managing our exploration program with the help of 14 more geos they have. So it's very significant that I explained that properly right at the beginning. Now, coming to the first slide that is on the screen now, this just covers a tremendous amount of work that we have covered in a very short period of time. If viewers remember, 31st of January, straight after listing, we made our presentation and said we will have started the exploration work. Since then, we have now completed the gravity survey over a 6-kilometer strike length, which covers the Belara mine and the area around it, and the Native mine and further south of Native mine. We have now commenced IP survey, which commenced on 18th of this month. And we have, in the period, we have reviewed the historical drilling for the QA/QC purposes. And it's very significant that 2 of the holes, 33 and 32, they are the best holes. They have been drilled historically, and they were never part of the 2007 JORC estimate of when they were published by the previous owner, Aaron Barr. And if you look at the intersection of 33, the 16.5 meters at about 5.8% zinc equivalent, it's very thick, very rich, and it's not in the 2007 estimate of the JORC of the resource. So it's very significant, and I'll talk a bit more detail as we go in the presentation. In terms of the drilling, which is straight after the IP survey, when we finish about middle of the March, we'll go into the drilling for which we have signed the contract and we have got rig lined up. So that's the amount of work we have covered in less than 4 weeks since listing. So I'm very happy where I am with my exploration program. Looking forward to the next stages of it. Next slide.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It seems like you guys have been working quite hard in the last couple of weeks, especially.
Correct. We have been leading to the listing, and since then, very hard. Now, just covering investment highlights, led by a proven board, management advisory team. Mineral Explorer, we are focused on battery and renewable energy markets. We're targeting zinc, copper, gold, silver, nickel, lead resources. The 2 projects, Belara and surrounding Belara, and the one in the Western Australia called Coolgardie, near Coolgardie, called Bullabulling project. Both projects are drill ready, 100% in all the tenements. There's no royalty, no deferred payments, nothing, neat and clean. And delivery of resources to Belara within a year of IPO. We're saying within a year, but we have given ourselves a target of publishing by middle of the year. Within 6 months of listing, we will have the resource published. And closely held capital structure, as you were commenting before about the share price, it's all supply and demand. So if you go into the sell side, there's hardly anybody then compared to the buy side, just because people are holding onto the shares and waiting for the good news will keep delivering going forward. Next slide. Can move to the next slide, Lachlan. Just introducing my board, led by legendary chairman, Mr. Neil Warburton, ex-Barminco IGO, very well regarded person. Just about myself, I'm a mining engineer by trade. I came in this country in 1988. CRA, now called Rio Tinto, brought me out from the campus, worked underground mines, New South Wales actually, first 4 years in Wollongong coal mine area, moved to Mount Isa, went a couple of years in Africa, and then came to Western Australia. I have been in the corporate side of the business since 2007 when I did my first listing. With that listing, I developed a copper mine and also explored a large lead and zinc asset in India. And I have been corporate advising many mining services and mining companies since then. Michelle Stokes is, I think I covered her before, 35 years experience as a geologist, taken many greenfield projects from the beginning all the way to developing mines and on the listing successfully. And Steve Lowe is a chartered accountant by trade, very well decorated person, very useful for me when it comes to negotiating and doing things financially. The main attributes of Steve is he's well recognized for the contribution he made to the Creasy Group. He was effective general manager there for more than 10 years. If I move to the next slide now, Lachlan. And very significantly, Dr. Greg Partington, who is our chief technical consultant and effectively exploration manager. Greg is well regarded in the industry for his lot of big findings. You start from Bullabulling, 3 million ounces. He did the Tampia, he did the Duke exploration recently, and he's the one who actually put his foot on the Belara project. And he's a person amongst our team the most excited about the whole thing. He thinks this is the best find of his life. And I'm very eager to see that's being proven true, because if that's the case, we're in for a good trade. Susan Park is our company secretary, very seasoned and very experienced. Donica is our IR manager, effectively managing our IR and PR work. Next slide, please. Just in terms of the capital structure, this was a few days ago. Shares have moved up since then, 51 cents. At that price, we had market cap of 22.8 million, 22.1 million share market cap, $2 million. And if you look at the top 20 shareholders, it sits about, top 20 hold about 68% of the company. If you recall my presentation, 31st of Jan, immediately after listing, that was sitting around 63, 64%. So we can see the top 20 holders are holding, plus accumulating some. In fact, if I combine some of the duplicate names in the top 20, I think my top 20 now holds more than 70% of the shares. So it's very tightly held, and I'm very proud of my share registry and the support my shareholders are providing me. Next slide, please. Now, just coming to just describing the project portfolio, 100% all Belara project in New South Wales, a total package of 643 square kilometers, and 2 historic zinc mines, Belara and Native Bee, shallow targets drilled to 400 meters located close to the good infrastructure. One thing I point out to my viewers, because I'll make a point about this when I go down in the slide, on the right-hand side slide, if you look at the black polygon, there is Native Bee mine shown Belara mine shown and the Native Bee mine shown there. So that structure along the lines of Belara and Native Bee actually extends for 25 kilometers. And I'll talk about that down the slide. On the left-hand side, if you look at the two radiuses, 100 kilometers and 200 kilometers, it shows a lot of other deposits in the Lachlan Fold belt, which are BMS, similar kind of mineralization. And notably, recently you would have seen that there's a mine called Woodlawn, which is on the same structure further south to our project. It has been in the news for a bid about $100 million is being purchased for. So it's very significant that the belt, which is already well-known belt, is attracting a lot of attention just because battery minerals and projects and battery minerals are so scarce, and the belt will be recognized. So we are very well placed in the same area, similar kind of style mineralization, similar kind of grade. That's why I'm very excited about the value that will be added on down the track with the more resource publication that will be publishing soon. Next slide. This is a bit about Coolgardie project, just a bit of description. All the polygons that you see in the blue shape is the leases that we have, about 49 square kilometers. So if you look at between the two bigger blue polygons, there's a project called Bullabulling, which is a 3 million ounces project resource right now with another company. If you look at the right-hand side image, there are two seismic lines shown there, and you can see the green shape, the folding going up and then comes down and comes up back again. So on the first fold that goes up, the context of mapping the ultramafic, that's where the Bullabulling 3 million ounces sits. And when it comes down again and goes up again on the other side, right-hand side of the picture, that's where our leases are. So the theory is that we will have similar kind of structure and similar kind of success, hopefully, when we drill the holes. There has been some holes, shallow holes done, some soil sampling work done in the past. So that project is also drill ready. So we probably would be drilling some holes in the second half of the year and testing that out. We are right now doing some planning work and the desktop work right now, 2D and 3D geology on that one. Next slide. So in terms of our exploration strategy, our strategy to deliver the JORC 2012 Inferred Resource over the historic mines at Belara and Native Bee, explore the potential for extension and repetitions of massive sulfide mineralization using electrical geophysics techniques. 3D geological models will be developed using artificial intelligence, assisted computer modeling techniques to prioritize new regional targets. Assess other corporate and asset opportunities that have a strategic fit to provide maximum value to the shareholders. So that's our exploration strategy, pretty simple, straightforward, well on the way delivering this. Next slide, please. Now, coming to this historical drilling data review, which is the new work that we have done since the last presentation we made. As you can see, we have completed a detailed review of historical drilling, confirms high-grade zinc equivalent intersection. The historical drilling at the Belara and Native Bee mines covers a combined strike length of 1,064 meters to a vertical depth of around 380 meters. Gravity survey has been completed at Belara and data processing interpretation is underway. Graded terrain IP survey has been completed at Native Bee mine and is progressing now towards Belara. A resource drilling at Belara to commence in March. If you see that picture on the right-hand side, there are all the historical holes drilled in the past, and all the red dots shows the holes that has been drilled and intersected mineralization. The black ones didn't, and the other gray color wasn't assayed for some reason because they didn't hit the intersection. So you can see majority of the holes are red. That means they all have intersected mineralization. And also a point to make here is if you look at the right-hand side on the top end, there's a lot of holes not drilled, infill drilling required between 50 to 100 meters, 100 to 200 meters, and 300 to 400 meters in that range. This is where I will lead you into where my program is for the next round of drilling to infill and confirm the current drilling.
Excellent.
Yeah. Now, this is a very important slide also, again, the new slide. 18 historical intersections from 16 holes of Belara have been recalculated using a 1% zinc equivalent cutoff. The important point to make is that when the previous resource was done, it was done at 2% zinc equivalent cutoff. Reason for that, because zinc at that time was around $2,000 US per ton. Now, today, zinc price is sitting approximately around 3,600 US per ton, so we can reduce our cutoff, and that obviously gives us more volume in the model. So we have established 18 historic intersections. Hole BO33 is the best intersection drilled at the project and sits outside the 2007 resource estimate. Results from this hole 33 includes 16.5 meters at 2.39% zinc, 0.44% copper, 0.96% lead, 35.69 grams silver, and 0.49 grams per ton of gold for 5.8% zinc equivalent. Now that's significant. You know, if you look at the projects around zinc projects, that's a pretty good grade. And for that width, it really looks very, very attractive. Additionally, the hole 32 also intersected mineralization. And I won't read all the numbers, but just to say that it intersected 9 meters of 1.4% zinc, 0.46% zinc equivalent, and 4.5 meters of 2.05% zinc equivalent. If you look at the pictures on the right-hand side, you see those three lines, 32, the two lines for 32 and 33, and that sits outside the model. And the picture that shows is magnetic inversion. So we're looking forward to finding more of those along the strike and further infilling the holes. So it's pretty. This is a very significant review finished by my team, and it's very exciting. Next one. Now, what's the plan for remainder of this quarter? Is that the gravity survey, which has completed. For now, 5.5 to 6 meters gradient array, which we will complete by next month. Resource drilling, we will again commence next month. We'll do DTM and LiDAR work, which have sometime in March. That's needed for our geological interpretation, 2D geology maps and things like that. And then we will do 3D stratigraphic geology and structural mapping over the Belara and Native Bee mine areas to cover the 5.5 kilometer long Belara mineralized trend. That's important. I say this is an old aeromagnetic that was done by the previous owners. If you look at the two dots, which shows Belara mine and Native mine, and the high resolution red colors that show where the mineralization trend is. And so it goes between Belara and Native Bee. Just to make a point, the resource currently sits around 0.5 kilometer strike around Belara. This is the 2007 resource I'm talking about, and a bit of Native Bee. But what we have shown is from the work that from this aeromagnetic work and the work that so far we have done, it looks like it will continue all the way to 5.5 kilometers. So if you just stepwise look at the old resource model, which will be improved because of the 2 holes we have identified, and the 31 new holes will be drilling into it with the infill, and then reducing the cutoff from 2% zinc equivalent to 1% cutoff. You put all that together, just on that strike length of 0.5 kilometer itself, we will have a very good resource. Then looks like that 0.5 kilometer actually is pretty prospective for remaining 5.5. So in my opinion, we are sitting on something really looks like really exciting discovery still to be unfolded, to be still learned about. Can I just go to the next slide, please? Just reinforcing that point of 5.5 kilometers. This is the magnetic inversion image done by Greg and his team. If you see the red high resolution colors around Belara mine, this is confirmed there around Native Bee. In between Belara and Native Bee, they strike majority of that is still to be drill tested. And if you look at on the southern side, southern from the Native Bee, it looks like it's all prospective for mineralized trains there that we will be drill testing, and definitely that one. So it's just, again, I want to reinforce the same point again. I mean, in the previous slide, because I'm so excited. So around Belara, we have the resource from 2007, which will improve significantly with the infill drilling, reduce cutoff, and then we have space to fill between Belara and Native Bee that will add further, and then further south of Native Bee that will add even further. So definitely, it looks very exciting from that point of view. Next slide. This is the historical and prawn drill location. So we are drilling 32 RC holes, approximately 5,308 meters. We'll do 2 DD holes, common drill holes, approximately 400 meters, and the hole will range from about 59 meters to 350 meters deep. Next slide, please. This shows you the planning of the holes that we have done. So all the black dots are the old holes, and the cyan color is the hole that we are drilling. As you can see that we are doing the infill drilling, and we will be redoing some of the old holes, which ones we can't use for QA/QC purpose. So between all of that, those holes we should be able to give us a very, very reasonable size of resource, hopefully by July. Next slide. We will have a very continuous and consistent news flow coming from all the work that we are doing. So if you look at the February itself, so we started gravity, geophysics work, and survey DTM. And now we have announced this results that today we found from the data review. And we have also said now that gravity is complete. Now we are in the process of analyzing that information and forming the view about that. We will announce that probably first week of March, once we have finished our work on that one. And in March also, we probably will be announcing IP survey work. And also March, we'll be announcing commencement of drilling immediately after IP work is finished. And after that, it will be continuous news flow in terms of as we drill holes and we come with results, we'll be announcing to the market, leading to the resource estimate by June and announcing in July the resource estimate. That's the current plan. And it's all sort of pretty well laid out, this program, all the approvals, contractors, people, all the resources in place to make that happen. And then from the work that we're doing along the way with the gravity and IP and other surface work and the 2D and 3D geology modeling that we will be doing, it will result into a lot of new targets to be drilled. And we will start testing them in the second half of the year, which will be some of them between Native Bee and Belara, and some of them might be further south of Native Bee, and probably more other regional targets that we'll be testing out. So that's the calendar we have. In terms of our ESG, my chairman is very big on these things. So he always makes sure that we follow as a good citizen and good environmental standards and policies and social work with the community, make sure it works in the balance and follow all the governance rules and regulations. Next slide. So this is just a slide from the site, just showing our team members working on the gravity survey and some of the sunset photographs as we show. This is real, it's happening. So that's about the presentation. So that gives me the contact details of slide there in that slide for myself and Investibility. If anybody has any questions anytime, please shoot a question. Happy to answer anytime. That in summary sums up the presentation. I'm happy to take any more questions you may have, Lachlan, and your viewers may have.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time to put in your questions. We can start to answer those. Obviously, I had a few emails come through previously with regards to investors that already have been invested. I got a question through from Steve. He asked, is there going to be options available for loyal investors? So, obviously, a few more investors are wanting to get a few more shares and a bit more options. Is that going to be a possibility eventually, or what's the plan there?
Definitely. We said in the prospectus that there will be a loyalty options, and which we are working with our team to come up with the amount of it, which we have already said 2-for-1, and then the price and the timing of it. And we are working with ASX on that one just to finalize those parameters, and we will be announcing that also very soon. If not before, then definitely in our quarterly reports, viewers can expect that we will be announcing the details of the loyalty option. Excellent,
excellent. And as you said earlier in the presentation, just with regards to your current shareholders, what were the feedback that you got when you did do the IPO? Obviously, that's an exciting time when it does do it on the day, but surely you've been getting some good feedback at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, where we are sitting right now with 55 cents starting from 20 cents, my shareholders are very happy the way it has gone. But again, just wanted to say something in terms of why this is the case. I think there's a lot more to go. That's what happened when we started the IPO presentation, raising money. We were very clear in our messaging, saying that this was a very cheap stock. Our EV at the beginning was only about $4 million, and market cap at IPO was about $8.6 million. So, and when we compared also with the peers, the similar assets in the market, they were trading at 4 to 5 time multiples. So market actually has caught up on that, in my opinion, and knowing that we will have a resource, the project already has a resource, and we are just confirming the resource and actually expanding it. And market probably has caught up to that and giving us probably the valuation that we should be at when we publish the resource. And I don't want to sort of make a guess on that, but we're still a long way to go in terms of reaching that kind of market cap where we should be.
Okay. I got a question here from Jason. He's asking about the cost of your cash. So what is your current burn rate with the drills that you've been doing?
Oh, look, sorry, I don't understand the question, but I'll try and answer this. Our drilling program, and by the time we finish by July, it will probably would be close to about $1.5 million, including all the costs by then. And we'll evaluate at that time, which would be about middle of the year, as to how much more drilling we have to do, because we can't make a guess right now. Only after doing all the work we do between now and July, and then we will decide as to how much more drilling we will be doing, and the more work, future work we'll be doing. I think we are well placed in terms of the cash. We had net about $4.4 million after all the costs were paid out from the IPO money. So we've got a budget that we strictly adhere to, and we will make sure that we have plenty of money to the work. When we run out of the money, obviously in a business like this, you're going to raise more money with the excellent results that you produce, which we expect to produce by July.
Excellent. With regards, this is from Stephanie, with regards to ESG, we understand that you're trying to focus on not disturbing the land as much as possible. What are the measures being taken in place?
Look, at the moment, the activities we are performing is very low disturbing activity. Drilling would be the most impactful one that we will definitely be very careful in making sure. We have consulted with all the land owners over there. We have access agreement in place wherever we go. Unless we have written access agreement in place, we do not go onto the farmlands where we are working. And these activities we are performing so far, it's just a matter of small gear, some equipment, people walking on the farm. That's what it is for right now. And when we do the drilling, obviously we'll put some pads and all, but we will make sure that they're all cleared up and properly rehabbed. But again, the area of disturbance would be pretty minimal.
Yep, excellent. Well, it seems like we haven't got many questions to go. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you can always send it through at this point in time, or just email after, and we can try and get those answered for you. But obviously, we've got one here from Tim. It's most likely going to be our last question for now. But right now, what is the short-term goal, and obviously, what is the long-term goal? What are we looking for in the next 5 years, and what are we looking for in the next 10 years?
Look, short-term goal is July publication of the resource, which will set us up nicely, and that will give us the next bigger goals. In terms of the medium-term goal, I see definitely an economical commercial mine that this project can definitely support, and that will be our goal. And the very long term would be that we would want to become a very significant player in the base metal and battery mineral space. And I think we can do that given the strength of the board that I have, and also a well-decorated team I have, who have accomplished a lot of bigger things in their professional career. I'm well on the way of building that kind of larger picture, and also realizing those goals that we will set out ourselves to.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we might wrap it up there. Thank you very much, as always, coming on board. Arvind, you've done an amazing job. Belararox is a company that I think we might have a bit more of a conversation with for the future. We look forward to seeing a few more drilling results to come out with regards to how they've gone. I think we might have a bit of a chat about that in the future. But for now, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending. is there any final thoughts or words that you want to say before we go?
Oh, that's right. Very grateful that you invited me, and I'll come again next time you invite me. And I'm very happy to talk about the company and its progress going forward. In terms of wrapping up my comments, I'll say a world-class project in a world-class jurisdiction, very well supported infrastructure with a previous resource. We will announce the resource in July, a very strong board, and a well-decorated team. So for a business that you want to build, you need a good project and a good team, and I have got both, and I'm well on the way of proving that up as we go along.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. This is recorded, so you can catch it up on our Port Jackson website. But until then, look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.